All right, we're going. Hello, welcome. I have been doing a whole bunch of delving recently because there are a couple of challenges related to it. There's one endgame grind where you have to do 500 delve nodes below item level 80. And there's another one where you just have to kill a delve boss. So we've got that one done, and I'm working on the 500 nodes. In the process, I've obviously, run into a lot of the buffs that GGG put into place with the delve. And they were no joke. You get a lot of fossil nodes. This is probably something a lot of you are aware of if you've already delved. I put it off until pretty late in the league, but holy heck, yeah. I've seen like 6 or 7 faceted fossils. I've seen like 4 or 5 hollow and a handful of other ones like glyphic and bloodstained and whatnot. And I'm only at a little bit above depth 400, which is, certainly fairly deep into delve, but not like quad digit levels of crazy deep where you would go and farm these kind of fossils before. So very significant buff to the fossil spawn rate. Even if you're just delving at like 250 to 350, I was seeing some even starting at that early. So that's great. Really happy with those buffs. However, I do think that delve still feels rather lackluster compared to other league mechanics. And I think it's down to a number of different factors. The rewards that you get through anything that isn't the special fossils when they show up feel pretty underwhelming. The fossils behind breakable walls are fine, but things like the weapon boxes and the armor boxes and the jewelry boxes, they all feel really outdated. If you're doing something like a Legion or a Blight, or anything else that has that little weapon or armor icon over it, generally speaking, those are going to give you what I like to think of as a pity reward when you open them up. You'll click on a Blight weapon box. You'll be sad. You'll do a Blight. You'll have a big lane, and it's got like 3 boxes at the end, and then it'll all turn into weapon icons, and you'll get real sad for a second. But then you go click them anyways, and maybe you get a temple weapon, or maybe you get like a couple fusing orbs or 4 chromes or something, and you get to walk away with something in your pocket for your effort. Whereas in Delve, you just click it, and like 5 garbage rares pop out on the ground that you ignore. Like maybe sometimes you get a 6 socket from the pocked armor or the twisted armor boxes, but that's about it. So I think even if they needed to have the number of weapon and armor boxes that spawn along the sides and at the weapon and armor reward zones in order to balance it, it would probably make things feel a little bit better if they dropped those pity rewards. Not even every time. Other mechanics don't drop them every time. But just a chance to drop a fusing or 2 would be great. Another thing that's underwhelming to me about Delve is, I want to say the level of challenge, but I feel like that's going to get taken out of context. Delve is arguably the most challenging content, if you go deep enough. But I feel like the level of challenge in Delve for the average depth most people will reach as far as endgame is concerned is eclipsed a bit by other endgame mechanics. Like, when I talk about the challenge level of Delve, I'm comparing, like, depth 200 to content on a T16 map in the Atlas, or depth maybe 250 to content on a T16 map in the Atlas. Yes, obviously, depth 1812 is going to one-shot you a lot of the time, but for most people, that is completely irrelevant. So I think they could do a number of things to address that. You can just up stats if you want to, but I've never really liked that as a solution. One of the things that was really, really fun about Delve, or dangerous, but in a fun way, when it was initially implemented, were the EMP mobs, which are kind of just a complete afterthought now. It was actually one of the selling points of the league. Octa's going to tell an old fogey story now from way back in Delve League, but one of the selling points of the league was that you needed to build into this darkness res and have flares on hand because there's going to be these mobs that occasionally shut the lights off on your cart. And they still do that, technically, but they shut the lights off for about a quarter of a fucking second, and it doesn't matter, and everything just gets turned back on instantly. And if they actually brought back some of that risk and the cart was shut down for like a solid second or 2, so you had to have some flares handy or good darkness res or recovery, some mix of that, it would still be a challenge that you could overcome relatively easily, but it would make them more of a factor. I'm not saying I want Delve to insta-kill everyone that looks at it, but just more things to think about. You could do something like the Rogue Exile nodes. They have a chance to spawn either with shrine buffs or possessed or both. You can just make the Weta, this isn't about challenge, but make the Weta spikes shinier so they're easier to see. There's plenty of little things like that. Speeding up all the Azurite encounters as well. That would, I guess, increase the challenge, but it would increase the challenge in a way that would also make Delve more enjoyable to do because you'd get through them faster. Anyways, this video was recorded live on stream in case you couldn't tell by sort of the lack of cohesion. I didn't have a script for this one, but that's my thoughts after having spent 2 or 3 days doing essentially nothing but delving. If you guys have any thoughts on the mechanic or any of the other mechanics that have been updated with the revisions that they added to previous league mechanics of this league, go ahead and talk about them in the comments below, or talk about them in the Twitch chat right now if you're watching live on stream. And thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.